Welcome back. I'm David Nelson for the Traders Network show, broadcasting worldwide from the New York Stock Exchange for iHeart Radio and Equities.com. We're here for an event being hosted by the United Nations Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative. And my next guest is here with us. It is Mr. Pierre Célestin. I hope I said that right. He's the CEO of the Rwanda Stock Exchange. Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
You were at the luncheon today. It was a pretty interesting luncheon, and I was going through my notes before we came down here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your country, has enormous growth when compared to some of the more mature markets around the world. How are you going to channel that growth over the next couple of years?
Well, we'll continue to grow for the foreseeable future. And the stock market is planning to be part of that big growth, and we continue to do our job to make sure that we contribute as much as possible to the raising of the capital for that economy of Rwanda.
I think our viewers would like to know a little bit more about you. I was looking at my notes from last night, and apparently you started your career here in New York. Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, that was pre-September 11, I think.
Okay.
I was a stockbroker here. That's how I started my business in this industry, and I had gone to school also in Buffalo, New York. I went to UB, and then I came to New York to learn the trade, and I took it back home to make sure that we also do the same trade, because it's very important.
What prompted that move to leave the United States and go back to your home country and take on this enormous undertaking?
Well, it's very simple. My schooling was here, but my heart was in Rwanda.
Okay.
That's where I grew up, and I strived to be there and to take back home what I learned in the West, and it has worked so far. So I believe being part of something new and being one of the pioneers is very rewarding, and I continue to do so.
I wanted to bring it back to the event, and I've been asking this question really of all our guests. How does the Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative and the activities they're likely to have over the next couple of years, how will you be able to integrate that with what you're doing in your home country and your exchange?
Well, we are coming from an era of Millennium Development Goals, which have ended in 2015, and Rwanda was one of the pioneers, actually one of the biggest and the better examples on our continent, having fulfilled most of the Millennium Goals. And the next step is to go into the Sustainable Development Goals, where you have different goals to achieve. Many of them have to do with the private sector and partnerships with governments, what we call PPP, public-private partnerships. And those sustainable goals we have to do, we all depend on them. So being a small landlocked country which is still trying to attract a lot of capital from everywhere in the world, basically, we must comply with what the world is looking for. So people are looking for sustainability for this planet. So we want to be part of that.
The companies on your exchange, are they endorsing these new goals that you're putting forth right now?
Well, like I said, it's a new market. We are only 5 years old, barely. But the companies are already complying with governance structures, governance issues. And the country at large, we try to follow as much as possible international best practice. And our companies are not going to be left behind. So us being part of this initiative, we will be making sure the companies also comply. And in Rwanda, people try to abide and comply with the law and the best practice all over the world.
Anything you'd like to say to the UN and SSE? They're launching their Sustainable Development Goals before you leave today.
Just don't leave us behind.
That is well said, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
That was Pierre Célestin, CEO of Rwanda Stock Exchange. By the way, a quick thank you goes out to 1-800 Public Relations for all the PR media support. Thanks for joining. I'm David Nelson.